family and friends and YouTubers. Kim here at Hancock Homestead and Gardens. And tonight I'm going to make a special treat. It's called candied applesauce. John's mother used to make it all the time. And then she taught me, and I taught my girls. And I thought maybe you might be interested in learning too. And the first thing we have to do is gather our apples, which we've already done, and then peel them. And I wanted to show you this gadget that I bought because I have arthritis in my hands and in my knees and in my feet and just about everywhere. But anyway, it makes it really hard for me to peel apples and potatoes. So I thought I would try this. All I would have to do is turn the handle. Well, I'll have to say it works much better on store-bought produce because they're a little bit bigger and a little bit more uniformed. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this contraption works. What I have to do is I wind this back and I slide my apple onto the spokes up here. And I push really hard and I get it all the way to the front. And then as I wind the apple, this little slicer back here is supposed to take the skin off. Let's see if it works. Oh, it's not doing too bad on this one. Whoops, I should have been prepared for that. Okay, but it's not perfect. So anyway, that's what happens is it takes the skin off, and it even has a blade that you can put in there to core it and to slice it. But I found that with our apples, it just doesn't work very well. And so the tool I like to use is just the good old paring knife. And, you know, I just slice around the apple. And after I get all the skin off, I won't make you sit here and watch me peel all these apples, but I'm going to show you that I can do it. And I cut out the brown spots. Then what I do is I just slice down the sides and get these chunks. And then I just get 4 beautiful chunks of apple. You know, it didn't really take me that long, and I get my four chunks. Now these chunks are kind of big to make applesauce, so I will be cutting these smaller. Okay, but I just wanted to show you that sometimes the simplest is the best. Okay. If you have a tool that slices apples or that peels apples and slices them that you like, please leave me a comment, okay? Because I will admit that slicing all of these apples did hurt my hand. So I'm always looking for some way to make it less painful. And the best way I found is to have John do them. But John's not here tonight, so I have to do them. Alright, so on to the next step. Okay, let me get these here sliced up into smaller bits. Alright, so then I'm going to take my apples and I'm going to rinse them off really well. Probably wouldn't, I mean, you wouldn't have to do this necessarily, but I just always feel better if I do. And then I just put them into my saucepan. go. Okay, and then I add just a half a cup of water. You really don't need very much water because apples have a lot of water in them and they're going to cook down. But I add just a little bit of water just so I have kind of a cushion in the bottom of the pan to get them started. Okay. So I put that in there and I turn this on a medium temperature. You don't want it too high. Mine goes from 1 to 9 and I usually set it at about 5. Alright, so those will take just a few minutes to cook down, and after they get to the stage where they're ready to add ingredients and mash, I'll get back to you. Okay, so the apples have been in the pan and on the stove now for about 15 minutes. And I just want to show you that they are starting to get boiled down and mushy. So when they reach that stage, I turn the heat down even lower to about a 1. And then I get out my potato masher. And I just start mashing the apples just like you would do if you were making mashed potatoes. Except now we're making mashed apples. We're making applesauce. And you can mash these as fine as you want. Now, we kind of like ours a little bit chunky. So, we like the chunky applesauce. But, you know, you do it as long as you want, and as hard as you want, and as small as you want. And you just keep mashing. Alright, so as you can see, we're getting some applesauce here. Alright. And then what I do is I add about a half a cup of sugar. You don't need a whole lot of sugar because your apples have a nice natural sweetness to them. But we like ours just a little bit sweeter. And this is the way I was taught. So you add about a half a cup of sugar. And then you mash that in. And you let that cook down a little bit. Okay, and then here comes the fun part. You get Red Hots. Red Hots are a candy. I don't know how many of you have eaten them as kids, but they're just small, round, and they've got a cinnamon taste to them. So you add, it kind of depends. I'm going to start with a cup here. And this is why it's called candied applesauce, because you're adding candy to it. And it's Red Hot cinnamons. So I'm going to put those in. And then I'm going to mash them in and I'm going to let them cook. And as the cinnamon, as the Red Hots melt and become part of the applesauce, it makes it red. I hope you guys are seeing this. And I think I want mine just a little bit redder. You can kind of tell. Start with a cup. And if you, I mean, you don't want pink, you want red. So that's the only clue I know to give you on how much candy to add. So I'm going to go with about another half cup. it will take just a little bit of time for these candies to completely melt. So don't take your applesauce off the stove just because it's turning red. You want to keep mashing and stirring until those candies completely dissolve, or else you or your guest might be biting into what they think is going to be candied applesauce and actually get a piece of hard candy. Okay, so I'm going to let that set for a few more minutes to let the candies melt, and then I will show you the final result. I hope that you guys are able to see that. Let me see if I can tilt the camera just a little bit. Okay, so there it is. And you can see that I have chunks of apples and I still have some candies in there that need to melt. So I'm going to leave them on my low burner for just a few more minutes. And then we will have candied applesauce. Okay, I think the candies have melted down pretty good, so now I'm going to put it in a bowl for you to see. And I'm going to use this clear bowl. I think I'll actually pour it in there. Spoon with it. And wouldn't that be a nice, beautiful dish to have on your Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner table? And I wish you could taste this. Delicious. Actually, you could have it at any time for dinner. Okay, this is Kim at Hancock Homestead and Gardens. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to know more about our homestead and what we do on it, please subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this session. I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.